Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Sergey Karjakin and Magnus Carlsen. This is a game from World Chess Championship match that was played in New York in 2016. Sergey Karjakin had white pieces and he started with e4. Magnus Carlsen played e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to b5, Spanish opening, Grandmaster's favorite opening. a6, no Berlin defense this time. Bishop to a4, knight to f6, Karjakin castled kingside. Bishop to e7, rook to e1. In game 2, Karjakin played d3. So we have rook to e1, 5, bishop to b3, and Carlsen castled kingside, offering marshal. h3. If c3, then perhaps we would have martial attack with d5. Pawn takes pawn on d5, knight takes on d5, knight takes on e5, knight takes knight, rook takes knight, c6, sacrificing a pawn for quick development and attack on white king. h3, bishop to b7, d3, black to move, d6 was played. Sometimes black plays d5, and then after e takes on d5, knight takes on d5, knight takes on e5, knight takes knight, rook takes knight, queen to d6, rook to e1, c5. Black is a pawn down, but has a good activity of the pieces. Back to our game. d6, a3, queen to d7, knight from b to d2, rook from f to e8, c3, knight to f1 is the most played move in this position. c3, bishop to f8, knight to f1, h6 preventing bishop to g5, knight from 3 to h2, d5, queen to f3, pressure is on the pawn on d5, and there is also another tiny threat. Knight to a5, bishop to a2, d takes on e4, d takes on e4, knight to c4, blocking the bishop. White to move. This is a very interesting moment of the game. What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? Is knight to g4 a good move? Sergey Karjakin played bishop takes pawn on h6, and Carlsen found the best answer, queen to c6. If g takes on h6, queen takes knight. Back to our game. Queen to c6. Pressure is on the pawn on e4. White to move. Here Karjakin goes wrong. He played bishop takes knight on c4. Not a good move. Exchanging his important attacking piece for black knight. Better was bishop to c1, and after say knight takes on e4, knight to e3. In the game we have bishop takes on c4, pawn takes on c4, bishop to e3, knight takes on e4. 20 moves have been played, and black is standing somewhat better. Knight to g3, knight to d6, rook from a to d1, rook from a to b8, bishop to c1, f6, queen takes queen, bishop takes on c6, knight to g4, rook to b5, defending the pawn on e5, intending f5. After 25 moves have been played, black is better. Black has a bishop pair. His center pawns are restricting white pieces. White knights are restricted in their options. White pawn on b2 is under attack. Black pawn on c4 is holding two white pawns. Things don't look good for white. Do you agree? The game continued. f3, f5, knight to f2, bishop to e7, f4, bishop to h4, attacking the knight, f takes on e5, bishop takes on g3, e takes on d6, rook takes rook, check, rook takes rook, c takes on d6, rook to d1, king to f7, rook to d4, now rook to e5, a little trap. What is a trap? Karjakin played king to f1. If rook takes on d6, rook to e1 checkmate. So we have king to f1, rook to d5, rook takes rook, bishop takes rook, bishop to g5, king to g6. This is another very interesting moment of the game. White to move. h4 was played. That's very risky. White may lose the pawn. Perhaps bishop to e3 may have been a better move, but still after king to h5, bishop to d4, g5, black is better. In the game we have h4, and note that black bishop may come to c1 if white is not careful. King to h5, threatening bishop takes on h4. How to defend the pawn? Karjakin played knight to h3, bishop to f7, not rushing to win the pawn. Why? If bishop takes on h4, the knight to f4 check, and after king takes on g5, knight takes on d5. White is doing well suddenly. Okay, so back to our game. We have bishop to f7, bishop to e7, bishop takes on h4. Well, if d5, then one line goes like this: king to e2, bishop takes on h4, knight to f4 check, to g4, bishop takes on h4. If king takes knight, then we have opposite color bishop endgame, and black win this. And if king takes bishop, then white knight is jumping like crazy around the board. Back to our game. Bishop takes on h4, bishop takes on d6, bishop to d8, king to e2, g5, knight to f2, king to g6, g4, bishop to b6, bishop to e5, a5, knight to d1, black to move. This is another critical position of the game. Carlsen played f4. Chess experts were pointing out that although at first this looks very good, this is not the best move. After this move, Carlsen was struggling to make a progress. Perhaps better was bishop to e6. And now if g takes on f5, king takes on f5, black is much better. Also, if after bishop to e6, bishop to d4, one line goes like this: bishop to c7, king to f2, f takes on g4, knight to e3, g3 check, king to f3, king to h5. And white needs a miracle to survive. Back to our game. f4 was played. I will not explain every move from this point, but I will just walk you through the game, and I will stop at another important moment of the game. And continue like this. Bishop to d4, bishop to c7, knight to f2, bishop to e6, king to f3, bishop to d5 check, king to e2, bishop to g2, king to d2, king to f7, king to c2, bishop to d5, king to d2, bishop to d8, king to c2, king to e6, king to d2, king to d7, king to c2, king to c6, king to d2, king to b5, king to c1, king to a4, king to c2, bishop to f7, king to c1, bishop to g6, king to d2, king to b3, king to c1, bishop to d3, knight to h3, king to a2, bishop to c5, bishop to e2, knight to f2, bishop to f3, king to c2, bishop to c6, bishop to d4, bishop to d7, bishop to c5, bishop to c7, bishop to d4, bishop to e6, bishop to c5, f3, bishop to e3, bishop to d7, king to c1, bishop to c8, king to c2, bishop to d7. Well, Magnus Carlsen is trying to exhaust Karjakin. Karjakin was holding. Unbelievable. King to c1. Black to move. Bishop to f4. That was a bad move. Better was something like bishop to g3. Bishop to f4 was a bad move. Bishop takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, king to c2, bishop to e6, king to c1, bishop to c8, king to c2, bishop to e6, king to c1, king to b3, king to b1, king to a4, king to c2, king to b5, king to d2, king to c6, king to e1, king to d5, king to f1, king to e5, king to g1, king to f6, knight to e4, check, king to g6, king to f2, bishop takes on g6, knight to d2, attacking the pawn on c4, bishop to e6, king takes on f3, king to f5, a4, bishop to d5, to f2, king to g4, knight to f1, king to g5, knight to d2, king to f5, king to e2, king to g4, king to f2. Black can't make any progress. If he tries to win with moves like this, then he may even lose the game. At move knight e4, need 3 glasses of water. Draw was agreed at this position. Very difficult game, and Sergey Karjakin is a very difficult player to beat. What do you think of this game? And I hope that you will not be very tired after watching this game. And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess and bye for now.